What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Mic Check Podcast. This is T Word, the People's Champ. Thanks for tapping in. Today, we're going to be doing a quick reaction video to the Showtime boxing card on July 8th. But before we get into the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate your feedback. We've reached our 500 subscriber goal, and we're now looking for about 150 watch hours so we can achieve super status, so we can begin to do super chats, super thanks, as well as memberships with some exclusive content on the channel. So be sure to get on there, jump on the playlist, let that thing run for a little while to help us reach this next goal. We do appreciate you in advance. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Saturday night was a pretty good card. I'm only going to cover two of the fights that I really was able to pay a lot of attention to. The first one was Yoelvis Gomez and Marvelous Marquis Taylor. This fight ended up going in Taylor's favor, and going in, when Gomez was coming to the ring, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this cat. He had a pretty good fight last time I seen him. So I didn't know enough about Taylor to really just hand a decision to Gomez in my mind, but I already had somebody I figured like, okay, this is the house fighter. This is the preferred fighter for Showtime. This is who they're putting the machine behind. So you expect that if it's a close fight, it's going to go Gomez's way. But I remember in his previous fight, he was pretty overwhelming of his opponent. But Marquis Taylor would have none of it. He came in, he was game, and he wasn't just game. He brought the fight to Gomez, and he made him very uncomfortable. He made it a very long night for him. In specific spots where Gomez should have been aggressive and fought his own style of boxing, he basically let Taylor dictate the way that the fight went. Taylor smothered Gomez pressure, which allowed him to not get KO'd and allowed him to not be in a bad position throughout the fight. And there were moments where Gomez did well, but for the most part, Taylor was in control, and he was awarded a decision, and not awarded in a bad way, like they gave him something he didn't deserve. The right guy won. And this is what you want to see. This is good, fair, and just judging in boxing. And that's what we expect when we start to follow sports and sign up for sports, that it's going to be fair like this. It doesn't matter if you're the house guy. You get that opportunity to win, they go ahead and make sure that you get your credit. All right, so moving on to the main event, you had Jaron Boots Ennis against Roiman Villa, a big knockout puncher versus a very slick, savvy, up-and-coming contender. Also the IBF interim champion, waiting in the wings for Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford. Some people he may never get to fight now that I'm looking at it. But anyway, that's a video for another day. That being said, coming into this fight, everybody was fresh off the memory from back in January of Boots having a little bit of struggle cutting off the ring and maybe not being defensively responsible and putting his punches together the way he should have to get Karan Chukajan up out of there. And he was lambasted, I guess you could say, online. People really beat him up about not being able to finish what they thought was a worthy opponent. I give credit to Chukajan for coming in with a really good game plan, and he made it a very tough night, a very educational night for Jaron Ennis. And I think it helped him in this fight because it reminded him that you're human and you have to keep working. Coming in against Villa, this guy had taken the victory from Speedy Rashidi Ellis, which I thought he didn't deserve, but he's in this position. He's the number 2 in the IBF. He needs to get this fight. And starting off, I gave Boots like the first 2 rounds, and then maybe even the third was a little contentious, but I still gave it to Boots. And then Villa started to win some rounds in there. I gave him round 4, but just the back and forth of it all. I had Boots comfortably ahead throughout. It's just Villa would show signs of stuff, but he would only win maybe about 20 or 30 seconds out of the round, and the rest would be Boots in control. Even when he backed Boots up, I thought Ennis would get his punches off. Now, I do still feel that defensive responsibility has been lacking with him, and it's leaky, super leaky, and he took some unnecessary shit. So he's really going to have to work on cleaning that up, because even though he was stood and his chin held up against a really big puncher, you can't do that against guys that know how to finish and also have a strong chin and also have other talents. Like a Terrence Crawford could take advantage of these things. Earl Spence will damage you on the inside and eventually catch you with something crazy. So before you move up to that very next elite level, I think there's some work that needs to be done. But to wrap up on the fight itself, he eventually caught Villa late in the fight in the 10th round. He had him staggered once in the 8th, once in the 9th. You start to see heavy shots land and really affect Villa. And then eventually Boots was able to get him out of there. He hit him with a right, No, I take that back. He hit him with a left, and I think he was in southpaw, so it had to be a cross. And then he came with a right uppercut, and then he came back with like a overhand, like a swivel punch, but it missed completely. By that point, the first two landed, and Villa was out on his feet, and he just staggered into the ropes and kind of fell through the ropes a little bit. But so the last punch missed, but it was a nice combination if he could have got it all. And that was like CTE on fire, the way that those punches were landing at that point, and he got him up out of there. The ref just he looked in Villa's eye as soon as he went down and knew it was over. He didn't even count. But it was a valiant effort by Villa. You could see he's a tough customer. As long as he could get back up off the canvas and shake back, he's going to be a good competitor at welterweight. And depending on how these belts fall, he might get an opportunity at another title shot down the line against somebody else, maybe in a different sanctioning body. But overall, I thought it was a really good performance by Jaron Ennis. Again, there's some areas to work on, and I'm being ultra critical, but he's next up. He's somebody that we have a lot of hopes for. So we're expecting to see at 31 fights leaps and bounds of improvement as you step up in competition. And there's just some areas that he needs to clean up. And he's flawed like every other fighter. We just want more from him. And I think that the talent is there to do it, especially if he's going to move up to like 54 and 60 eventually, where there's even bigger punchers. But you guys tell me what you think about this. Who do you want to see Ennis in the ring with next? What did you think of the fight itself? Did he refresh your approval rating, or is it still the same as before the fight? So this has been T for the Mic Check Podcast. Until the next time, I'm out. Peace.